Welcome back, YouTube. It's been a few months. I'm sorry, please don't fire me, guys. I know, but I am going to be returning with more content here soon. So a little bit of an update video this time. So let's get into it. All right, so starting off with the M3, overall not much has really changed, but I did swap out one thing, and that's going to be the nose panel. I did go to pre-facelift on it. You guys could argue me in the comments saying that facelift looks better, but overall you guys are going to be wrong about that. So in my opinion, the pre-facelift is a little bit more square, which kind of fits the overall square chassis design of the E36. So I've always wanted this, and I eventually got around to doing it. It was 60 bucks for the nose panel. It is not OEM, but it does fit like OEM. So literally just ordered this off eBay. Everything fits up as you would expect, so good purchase. And while I have the front end apart, I might as well respray the bumpers. So I did give that a fresh coat of paint. That's looking all nice and glossy now. I also got rid of the fog lights, and now we have a OEM fog light delete. So saved a little bit of weight, changed up the look. I'm digging it. And lastly, there's one more thing I'm doing to the E36 currently, and that is swapping out the front wheels. So yeah, I'm not doing 3-piece yet, but I did get some 9.5 Mk4s I'm going to be running in the front. Currently, I am running the 8 wides. Rears have 9, so yeah, I'm going to be running squared setup up front. And I did check, and they fit exactly like how these 8s do, but I will be able to get away with a 215/40 tie rather than a 205 and have the same type of stretch going on up here. But yeah, basically I got to strip off all the clear coat on this, get rid of all the curb rash, and after that I could send it off to the powder coater, get these all finished the same way I got these ones finished. Go through all the grits, make sure this is all polishable. So start out with like 80 grit, work my way up to like 1500, 2000 grit, and then I could hit this with a polisher, and then I'll be able to ball out with a 9.5 squared setup on Mk4s. After I get these Johnnies all set up in the front, I do kind of want to change my fitment up a little bit in the regards of lowering the front. So I think I have ideal fitment in the rear. It doesn't get much better than that. It's literally like a 0.5 millimeter from rubbing. I'm super stoked on that, but the front could use some improvement, to be honest, and that could poke out a little bit more. I could go a little bit lower, but the limiting factor of it is I have a 3.5-inch exhaust all the way back. And if you guys could imagine, the 3.5 does sit pretty low, so I think in the next couple months I do want to go to a 2.5-inch from the header all the way to like halfway to the car, merge that into a 3.5 oval exhaust, and that'll be the rest of the exhaust. So with the 2.5, I'll probably get some torque back from the car. From what I hear, the 3.5 kind of robs us of the torque from the S54. So I'll be gaining power essentially. I'll be able to go lower. So I think with that, I'll at least be able to go like a 1/2 inch lower up front, get that closer to like fender to lip. And that's kind of what I'm scheming up on the E36 right now. All right, cool. So the E36, you guys are updated on that. What I've done, what I plan on doing. Well, what's next? Well, what's next is actually not going to be a car, and it's going to be the garage itself. So this is basically how my garage has looked since I bought the house 6 years ago. And it seems like every month I have more of these fluorescent bulbs burning out. So it's time to get rid of this boomer technology. I'm going to convert it all to LED. I'm going to do hexagon lights, which call it played out, call it a cliche or whatever, but they look badass. They have great light projection, and it's definitely a lot better than these fluorescent lights. Other than that, I do want to keep this overall garage renovation somewhat budget friendly. I'm going to try to cap it around $1,000. So for the lighting, it's about $500. I already have that ordered. And then other than that, I'm done with the white. So we're going to paint the walls black. I'm going to paint the ceiling black. And I'm also going to change up the garage door insulation because these kind of like faded to yellow. I'm just going to convert that to like a silver reflective material. So also covering up the windows. I don't need windows for my garage, so these will all be covered up. It'll be just a nice uniform look for the garage doors, which I'll be able to buy all that material from like Home Depot. So overall, I think this whole renovation is going to be pretty easy to do. It will be time consuming, especially with the paint, but I think the hardest part of all this is going to be patching up the ceiling work. So all the old bulbs are actually recessed into the ceiling. So I got this one to kind of get an idea of what I'm working with here. And basically what I think I have to do is add like anchor points along the inside of it, screw to the outside, and I'll be able to screw the new drywall piece into the middle. So after that, obviously plaster and try to retexture the ceiling so it'll match. And after all that, I think there's 10 fixtures I have to patch up, and then I'll be able to paint the ceiling and add the lights. As for paint is pretty labor intensive. It'll just take me a while to get all this painted because it is a pretty big garage. But I think the worst part about it is going to be, I do have to drop this heater so I could actually paint the ceiling up there. The air compressor is going to have to get lifted up and then moved out. which means I have to disconnect this whole air dryer system and kind of clean this whole section up a little bit. So as for paint, this is pretty much the worst of it right here. And you guys are probably not aware of this. I don't know why you would be, but I have a bathroom in here and it hasn't worked since I pretty much bought the house. If I have water hooked up to the toilet, it's cracked and it'll end up leaking. So I will probably buy a new toilet. It would be dope to have a functional bathroom in here again. And yeah, that's like $200 for a toilet, so I might as well. So that's pretty much the conclusion of what I have schemed up for my garage renovation for the next month or two. I'm probably gonna break it into like a 4 or 5 part series for YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys are wondering, am I also gonna be doing the flooring? No, I don't have $3,000-$4,000 to either re-epoxy the whole flooring or do like Swiss tracks. As much as I'd love to, that'll be a project for a later year, but right now I'm just gonna try to keep it somewhat budget friendly, just paint the walls, ceiling, and update the lighting, maybe decorate it in here a little bit better, but I'm not trying to spend that much money right now. And if you guys have been watching up until this point, I have one last update for you guys before I close off this video, and it's about the Mk4. So I actually almost sold this thing. I almost gave up, I'll be honest with you guys. I had the wheels listed in the marketplace for about 2 months, never sold. Other parts were listed, nothing ever sold. So I eventually came into the garage one night, kind of just thought about it, looked at it, and I realized this thing has more sentimental value than I could really produce by selling it. So screw it. I said, I'm going to keep the thing. I think I'll make good content for YouTube. I'm going to enjoy actually finishing this thing, and it's not really that far from being done. So after the garage renovation, I'm going to get back to work on the Mk4, get this thing running, get it finished, because it is the first car I ever bought with my own money. It's the first build I ever built, and I think it'd be a damn shame if I let it go just parting it out, you know? But that will be the end of my little update video for you guys. So if you guys aren't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, helps with the algorithm, all that cool jazz. And please don't fire me for being gone for a few months. Now that I actually have stuff to do in here, should be a lot more frequent uploads, at least every week, bi-weekly. So till next time, guys, peace.